So am I gonna ask for that?
Okay, we're good.
I can ask for it.
Okay. I
So, Mike, I think you need to ask for a roll call as to who's on right now.
Somebody's using each
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at, what is it, a little about 9:03 a.m. We'll start out with Okay. Okay, we'll start with roll call. Becky, you wanna take roll call?
Sure. Hey, Mike, will you do me a favor?
memories.
Or whoever, will you mute your YouTube feed?
I did.
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. All right, so ready? Okay, so I have Mike
Yes, go
Copine,
ahead.
Mike Copine,
Here.
Charlie Thomas, Tim Dean,
Here.
Katie White,
Here.
Jim Wentling.
Here.
Okay, thank you.
Who else is on right now?
All right, go ahead. And, I know Kevin Lally here, Denise is here. Do we have anybody else? Greg Walters. Greg's here, I'm sorry, Greg, and Charlie's here. Anybody else? Have I missed anybody?
Mike McBride.
Stacy?
Okay, Stacy and Mike McBride.
How about the sheriff? Is he good?
John Symington, are you there?
He was just in the building.
Yeah. John Symington will probably be calling in shortly. He was up in the building to drop off his claims, Mike. So I would imagine he'll come online by the time it's time to make his report, so. So you got the roll call and go ahead.
Just a note, before we continue, if you're on YouTube and viewing it, do what I just did, is mute the sound on the YouTube video. You should all be able to hear what's going on with the meeting on your phone. If you can't, speak up and we'll try and address the issue. With that said, does anybody have any questions or anything? Okay, if not, start out with item number 2 on the list. Everybody get a chance to read the previous minutes of the meeting. Any additions or corrections to be made? If not, they stand approved as read. Okay, as far as visitors, I'm sorry. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say right now? Kevin? Denise?
Nothing right now.
Okay, Greg?
No, nothing right now.
All right, Charlie?
Charlie, do you have anything?
No, thank you. No, he doesn't.
I can't hear you. I keep saying, Charlie, if you're talking, we can't hear you. You're too far away.
No, Mike, nothing to add.
Okay. Stacy, do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. And Mike's busy on the technology, so I won't bother him. But Mike, do you have anything to bring up?
McBride, no.
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and continue on then. John, you want to go ahead and start with the claims there?
Did they approve?
Denise first.
Yeah, we'll go to the circuit clerk's claims first.
Ask them to keep their phones.
Yeah.
I highlighted the type of claim it is, if it's circuit clerk or document storage or clerk op. And I highlighted the number so that Mike can find it on his list.
What's it say at the top there of that sheet?
As far as what circuit clerk,
What it says there,
just the account number is highlighted.
right there.
Circuit clerk.
Okay. These are just circuit clerk claims, Denise.
No, the circuit clerk ones are 01, so that's the county general.
Okay, then we're good. So we have JP Cook Company for $87.49. And we have SBM for $705.97.
For a total, $793.46.
Here we have the circuit clerk's automation and administrative fund. Just one claim for $180.
That's Fund 89.
That's correct.
Yep, we got that.
Total's $180.
Total $180. And then we have the court document storage fund for one claim for Cindy-O for $267.78.
And that's Fund 07.
Correct. And the total is $267.78.
Is that all you had, Denise, or are there more?
Yeah,
Was that a yes?
yes, that's all I have.
Okay, good. Under the sheriff's claims,
It's just stacked.
oh yeah, that's the state's attorney, so there's one there.
Right, that's one.
How we get that in there?
That's this one.
This one, keep going, just this one claim here. Okay, first claim for the sheriff.
Go with the smaller or the big one?
I've been, the first claim would be Pat Bodmer.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. For $150.
And the total for that is $150.
We're really doing something here, fellas. We're not just your people, we're. Okay, you ready?
Like I said, one thing
I-Fiber being the first one?
Correct.
Okay, now we'll get into the bulk of the sheriff's claims. First one is for I-Fiber for $2,100 even. Second one is to Advanced Correctional Health Care for $6,672.13. Next one is Bus Boys for automobile for $1,316.25. Next one, Dixon Fire Department for $358.51 for medical. Fox River Foods for $2,161.82 for food. Firefighter for $151.75 for supplies. CenturyLink telephone bill for $514.47. Can all of you hear me okay? Okay. Okay, KSB Hospital, testing for a new hire for $191. Maria's for food for $1,197 even. Nathan Holsinger at LCSO for clothing allowance, $30.
Okay. That should be it on that.
Got another one.
Problem I have is there's not a total on this.
Is there another one on the other side?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
There we go.
there it is.
Next is Shane Miller, top of the list. Okay.
Shane Miller.
Next one is Shane Miller, training for $43 even. Next one, Motorola Solutions for radio for $24,216 even. Muller Pinehurst Dairy for food, $500.87. National Emblem for clothing, $79.92. Oliver's for food for $5,483 even. Yeah, a lot of subs. Police Law Institute for training for $45. Standard and Associates, a new hire testing, I would assume. Testing or training. John, are you on the line?
Yeah, testing.
Okay. Village of Ashton for maintenance, $174 even. Okay. Wex for gasoline, $5,018.08. Kyle Rankin, LSCO, new hire, $51.95. What's that, just clothing allowance, John?
Getting him ready for the jail, yes.
Okay,
But
and Johnson Oil for $97.98. And that would be it, John?
that's it.
Okay, for a grand
All
total.
right, total $50,870.23.
5087023. Correct.
It's very good, so good.
Just take one of this. Cross my eyes. There you go.
Okay, next batch of claims is for the coroner. First one is Axis Forensic Toxicology, for professional fees, $680. Dr. Mark Peters for autopsy, $990. Answering Innovations for the answering service, $158.08. To Jesse Partington for his telephone, our reimbursement for $50. US Bank for supplies, specifically body bags. Receipts are here for $1,960.19.
total of, all right, you got one more in there.
No, one more.
Should be CenturyLink for a landline. Where's the fly? Oh, wait a minute now. See on the bottom, paid before. Maybe they paid that one before, the invoice.
Oh, that was paid before, so
Okay, so we won't include that then. Okay, so then your total is $3,838.27.
the state's attorney claims. The bigger package of base claims, Charlie.
Correct, that'd be the office
Covers
hours.
the contractual service to Untitled Purpose.
Yes, yep.
Why do you say that? First, the state's attorney claims, and the first one is to Tim Verbus for contractual service, $364.50.
That's court reporting.
Everybody hear that? That's court reporting service. Next one is Leaf for $958.32. SBM for $30.94. US Bank got receipts attached for $185.50. US Bank for postage for $205.85 with those combined, about. So that's separate.
They're separate, okay, yeah.
Next one, another one, US Bank for supplies for $7.04. Got receipts on all these so far. I do on all of them. Next one is West for law books and subscriptions for $2,073.47. Total
Total of $3,825.62.
We have, what are these, Charlie?
What's the first one?
Lee County ETSP.
Okay, so this one's gonna be for the OVW grant that we received.
Okay. The OVW grant expenditure for $625 even. Another OVW grant expenditure for US Bank for $3,071.24.
Total of, go ahead, you want to check that first?
Yeah, let me check. How do you get the receipts on this, Charlie? Is this just like?
Yeah, you should see
Okay,
copies of
that's for, okay, we're good. Receipts attached. Grand total.
There's your paper. $3,696.24.
This next one should be for the Veterans Treatment Court.
Everybody catch that? It's Veterans Treatment Court claims. That's to Mowbray for $200 even. Another one to Mowbray for $450 even. Mississippi Centers for $273.58. Another one to Mississippi Centers for $275 even.
Okay, total there is $1,198.58.
58 cents.
$1198.58.
That's Veterans Court, Charlie.
Correct.
Next one would be Stacy's Lee County Probation, her main claims. First one is to, I believe these are your main claims, Stacy, be Robert Taylor.
Yes, that'll come out of probation service fees.
Okay. For $340 even. Reconnect for $280 even. US Bank for various programs. The cards, the receipts are attached. The next one to SBM for $72 even for furniture and equipment. The next one, US Bank card for $95 for auto expenses. Receipts are attached. The next one for Verizon Wireless for telephone, $65.56. Road Ranger for auto expenses, $64.34. US Bank card for training for $29.38. Receipts there. Another one, US Bank card for training for, why is this a negative number, Stacy?
There was a credit back to that account for a hotel room that was canceled.
Okay,
There was a credit back to the account, and I believe that's noted on the very bottom line of that ledger of expenses.
okay.
It's $167.77.
Yep, 167.77 credit
Correct.
for a grand total of.
So the total is $1,016.1016.28.
We have drug court expenses. First one to a Jane Lefevre for $814.30. Another drug court expense, US Bank card for $19.17. Receipts are there.
Total, $833.47.
Another claim to, for probation for Pitney Bowes. Which one is that, the reserve account postage?
Yes, and this one should come out in county general, John,
Okay,
001.
yep. And it's $200 even? It's the only one?
That's the only receipt for county general.
Okay. You have multiple claims here, or categories, Stacy. Were there any others in those categories?
No, just those three this
Okay.
week.
The next one's skipping back up. I got them a little out of order, but the next one is for EMA. Some of these are connected with the setup and operation of the new EOC, so there will be potentially some reimbursement for some of this stuff. But the first one is to WEX for gas for $120.17. Durban Telecommunications for consultation and connecting telephone, $60. SBM for a new printer and office supplies for $2,397.41. US Bank for miscellaneous office supplies and other expenses, and although I haven't run the total, there are about 8 to 10 receipts attached here. And I will run the total when I'm done, but it comes to $1,845.07.
Grand total, $4,422.65.
We have a public defender claim. Just one claim for, to Robert Thompson for a copy of a judgment order for $58.80.
And that's your total, $58.80.
What are we paying for that, gentlemen, Melissa?
I can't tell you without knowing what it is he's doing.
That's for business cards.
Oh, was that what it was? Okay.
It was for business cards.
It's not my claim, I don't know.
Business card, yep. Okay, now we're getting into the judge's claims. That's you, Charlie?
Yeah, judge's claim, that's me, yeah.
How about that, Charlie? How's things in Florida? This is for Judge Lee, and it's one claim for $196 to SBM. And the receipt is attached,
That's the total.
$196 total.
Yep.
We have some claims for Judge Ackert, two groups. The first one is to a Matthew Bender for $495.87. That's for a product update. Receipt attached for Illinois forms for jury instructions. One claim.
Yep. That's the total, $495.87. You're gonna have.
Excuse me just a second, I gotta find something out. Yeah. That was for the library fund. And then her general claims, the first one is to I. Sorensen Forensics for $6,225.68. Mississippi Centers for services for December, January, February for $1,960.03. Tom Murray for $125. US Bank for $84.76. Receipts attached. SBM for $44 for copier contract. Jeff Sundberg for $585 even, an order of payment. Hinkley Springs for water supply for $203.82. Allison Fagerson for $329.20. Another one for Allison Fagerson for $4,100. Charlie, what is this? It just says order of payment. I'm not familiar with that.
So she was appointed counsel on this one, so she got paid for an hourly rate for the amount of $4,100.
For all of you to know, this was a lady that was hired to do some legal consultation on an hourly rate for the judge. The next one is Sauk Valley Media for advertising for $327.60. Next one is SPM for $50.97 for a lot of pens. The next one is to Language Line, February services for $54.19. Dr. Matthew Finn, $1,300.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
Way up under SPM, the first SPM, there should be another one for Dr. Finn for $1,300. It would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one down. After the first 5 claims. Yeah. Yeah, Tom Murray, US Bank, SPM, and then there should be one for Dr. Finn.
Correct.
Okay,
Sorry, I missed one claim. That was to a Dr. Matthew Finn, another one for $1,300.
got it.
That's stuck together. That's just, he's hired as a consul for the judge.
He does psychological examinations for fitness or anything else that's.
Everybody hear that? Does psychological examinations?
Okay, total, $16,690.25.
Next claim is for Judge Klun for $188.31 for ink for his printer. That's the only claim.
Oh, you can afford that now.
Yeah. I agree. There's certain things we gotta pay for.
Ain't afford it, but
And the last claim is for Judge Friel Draper. Actually, there's two claims. First claim is for a copier contract for $196 even. And the next one is to US Bank for $144.90 for supplies. And receipts are attached.
And the total is $340.90.
So, hey, John, can we go back to that other one for Judge Eckert on the 4,000 or whatever, 4,500 bucks, whatever it was there?
Sure.
For what?
Give me just a second here.
What was that for?
The 4,000. Not that one, the green jacket. Judge Everett.
Give me just a second there. That would have been to Allison Fagersman for legal consultation, and Charlie will give an explanation.
She was appointed, there's an order attached to it, and it purports to show that she was appointed on a case to represent somebody by the court. There's an hourly rate at which the court pays appointed counsel, and that's just the total for that hourly rate.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's all it was there.
Everybody understand that?
John, I have a question for Kevin on the copier that was purchased. Is that put on a maintenance program or anything? Was that included?
No, that was not included. They called a couple days after we received that. I actually let Jim Nicholson and IT work out a replacement for the printer that failed. And they come up with this, and it's $64 a month on maintenance. They sent it to me just the other day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the claims?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there any other questions on the claims before I stack them up here? Appreciate your patience. I've never read through the public safety claims before, so. Just,
Bob and John, thanks for going over the claims in that fashion. It's kind of funny though, because when Bob's mouth moves, nothing comes out for about 30 seconds. Okay, I need a motion to accept and approve the claims.
I'll make that motion.
Dean,
Second. Vote by roll call.
Was there a second?
I didn't hear.
gotta have a second, Mike. If
All right,
there,
I'm sorry.
if there was, we didn't hear one.
Second. Any
I'll
second?
second Katie.
Katie said.
Okay,
And then we'll do a roll call.
Tim made the motion, Katie made the second. Vote by roll call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want me to? Mike Sopin,
Yes.
Charlie Thomas,
Yeah.
Tim Dean,
Yeah.
Katie White,
Yes.
Jim Wentling.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to old business. Does anybody have anything to bring up under old business? Any of the department heads or anything?
She can sign all their
Well,
names.
Kevin's probably not caught up with anything. Kevin and the sheriff probably aren't caught up with anything yet.
We're holding our own, Mike.
Good. Doing good. Yeah, I might be on the line, John. If I am, let me know. John Nicholson, Sheriff, I'm getting some feedback that they're really accepting your letter as a joke down at Woodhaven.
I've been in constant contact with Woodhaven, Mike, and the association has been very receptive and understanding. They're also working on their end to put out similar messaging to the residents. We had about 750 lots that were occupied over the weekend, which we kind of anticipated because my press release didn't get out until Saturday about noon. So people were already bumping in Friday night. And then 237 lots Monday, and down to 125 lots occupied yesterday. So we're seeing a drastic decline, which is exactly what we're hoping for. It's very encouraging news. I speak to the executive director out there almost daily, if not every other day. And so they're working with us. They're certainly not working against us out there. Completely an understanding of the new amendment that we were able to come to a compromise on Friday afternoon with the governor's office. So I'm hopeful that that'll continue. I'm going to keep monitoring it every day, though.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Sheriff. One last question. Do you have any enforcement action? Can they be, if they continue, the residents, well, I shouldn't say residents, but the property owners, if they continue to violate this travel ban or anything, is there any action that's available to be taken for those people?
I'm going to let Charlie answer that because he and I have been in frequent discussions about that, and I'll let him kind of give you his version of how we could. It's difficult to enforce just from my perspective. And go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, Sheriff's absolutely right. It's because, this is private property that are owned by citizens that have tax interest in this as well. So it's a little bit difficult to take the steps that we normally would for, let's say, businesses or individuals as themselves. But I've been working with the sheriff on this in terms of what steps we can take, what charges can be brought, or civil action can be brought if individuals are going to be violating the executive order. And as the numbers deteriorate, we're going to try to see where we're at over this next week. If we see an amping up of numbers, or if we see that individuals are not complying with the executive order, then we can take the steps that we need to. In terms of individuals that don't take steps for the executive order that they need to, for an example, if people are going to parks, congregating, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, we've talked about different charges we can bring on those individuals. Certainly we don't want to if we don't have to. We just want people to comply with the executive order. If they don't comply with it and they force our hand, then yes, there's charges we can bring against them.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Sheriff, thank you. I appreciate it. I guess my only remaining comment about the entire issue was back when they were ripped apart down there by the tornadoes, somebody made an executive decision down there, and if it was us, that's fine. I respect it. I'm very grateful for it. But in defense of themselves down there, they shut the gates and wouldn't let anybody in or out because of the tornado that ravaged the place. I'm not finding too much difference as far as the seriousness between the pandemic that's going around and a tornado. And I just don't see why they just can't. If you leave the gate open, somebody's going to go through it. If you leave the gate open on a pasture, the livestock's going to go through it. And I might be comfortable.
Yeah, I presented that very argument last Thursday afternoon and Friday morning when I was in conference calls with the governor's office and his legal staff, and certainly Representative Demmer was helpful in this, and also discussed that with Charlie. I did close that down during the tornado for about 6 days, and I used the same IEMA Act that's being used for this particular pandemic to do that, but I also had compliance on the part of the park due to the hazards that we're seeing, and that's the difference here. I totally agree with you that the tornado is no different from a hazard perspective than this virus. Matter of fact, the virus might be more hazardous, but
it was perception more than anything else. When you saw all the destruction of the homes out there, power lines down, you know, the sewers, the wells, and everything. Just, you know, everything was a mess out there. Trees down, so it was hazardous for anybody to do anything throughout that facility for a period of time, and hence the reason I closed it. But the association also closed the park at that time as well, which they have the ability to do on their own against the advice of their attorney if they want to. But this is different. You just can't see this virus, and I think it's more perception than anything else. But yeah, we did use that argument late last week.
Thanks, and I respect you for shutting the park down too. I just wish that they could see the seriousness that's involved in something that's hitting and spreading rather than hitting and stopping. The tornado hit and stopped after we passed the area. The pandemic is not stopping. It's continuing to escalate. And I still have issues, not with you or not with any of our people here. It's, I guess, the extensiveness or the consideration of the extensiveness or seriousness of what is going on versus what they could reach 30,000 people down. I don't think they will. It sounds like it's not going to. By the number that you just gave me, and I'm very appreciative of that. So this first effort, although I'm seeing some underground communications out there, you know, you just have to lend that to, well, I won't go any further on that, but thanks. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions or anything? Okay, let's move on to new business. Sheriff, I'm going to let you take over on A as far as the status of the COVID-19 and the potential use for the old jail.
Okay. Yeah, has been in discussions for a couple weeks. First of all, I appreciate Greg Saunders and his crew cleaning up the old facility and getting that part of it ready to go. Olivia has been working with the Ogle County Jail Superintendent as well to resupply it in the event that we have to use it. This is one of those catastrophic plans that we hope we never have to use. Initially, we were talking to the Northwest Sheriffs about maybe making this a regional jail. Talks over the last week or so with them and certainly hospital directors and Kevin here at EOC and the health department as well. It's not as feasible to do a regional jail because of the potential influx of a variety of inmates with COVID-19 from jails all over Northwest Illinois, which would inundate our local hospitals. So what we've kind of scaled it back to is still using that jail for COVID-19 positive inmates, but using it only for Lee and Ogle County inmates because they would naturally go to the local hospitals around here, regardless if we're in the middle of a pandemic or not, for an inmate that needs hospitalization. So that's basically what we've scaled it back to now. Again, I'm hoping we never have to get there. Both Ogle and us, especially with our new jail now, have the ability to isolate and quarantine up to about 4 to 5 inmates per jail. So again, we're hoping it doesn't get to that since we have the availability to quarantine them in our own jails. Plus, what I started about 2.5 weeks ago was any inmates that coming into our facility, new inmates, they're automatically quarantined for 14 days before they're put out in the general population. So we're trying to mitigate everything we can before we have to get to some type of catastrophic plan like that. So that's kind of a real rough update on it, Mike.
Okay. Considering that should happen, which I hope it doesn't, will you maintain control over what's going on there, or will that go to state, or will that go to FEMA? Who's going to take charge of that?
That'll be a sharing of staffing between Ogle and Lee. So I'll probably start pulling deputies off the road. I've already conferred with ISP and our local municipal agencies in Lee County, deputized everybody that would need to be so that they can continue patrol efforts. But again, this is
likely be pulling deputies off the road to assist in the jail.
Okay, will you be the one, Sheriff, then that will make the decision as to, yes, we will accept a certain individual that's infected, or who makes the underlying decision to accept them and incarcerate them there?
Well, as soon as we get to that point, Brian Van Vickle and I will be talking. If he gets 10 inmates that are infected and he can no longer house them in general population, has no place for isolation or quarantine, and it's also going to potentially affect his staff, then at that point in time, that's when we'll open it and get him out of there.
Okay.
And because of our jurisdiction, that'll be my responsibility.
Okay. I understand that this would be under emergency circumstances, but where will we stand as far as the inspection and qualification of the building in a corrections status again? I know because of the condition of it, we had problems with it, with inspections on the, a yearly basis, and we weren't passing inspections. How is the state going to govern our use of it under the emergency circumstances?
I've been in contact with the director of IDOC actually on that, and he told me that obviously they cannot give us a passing grade on the inspection because you can only put clean underwear on a dirty body so many times. And so essentially what he said, John, in these circumstances, you have to do what you have to do. And so that's our conversation we had. He put that down on email. I'm not going to get an inspection blessing from them because there are still things that it would be very, very expensive for us to try to correct. So again, this is a tough decision, and hope we never have to come to that. But right now, I'm the only one that has a jail that's structurally sound enough to house these inmates / patients without having to inundate our hospitals unless they have to go on a ventilator, of course. So I don't want to do this, Mike, by any means, but this is our best option to keep our staff and the rest of the inmate population as safe as we can and to mitigate some exposure. I can't afford exposing 50 inmates in our current jail and our staff. That would be worse than what we're discussing right now, by far.
Well, I respect your decision on that, excuse me, and your input on that. It's just a tough decision, unfortunately, that would probably fall on your shoulder. And out of all of which we just discussed, the individual from the State Department of Corrections said you do what you have to do. That raises concern on the other side of the fence when the state finally decides they're going to have to do what they have to do and hammer us with a nice hefty fine or something for utilizing a building that has not passed, inspection or whatever. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I appreciate your proactiveness on it. Do we want it to happen? Nobody wants it to happen, but I hope that you're blessed with enough people, that can accomplish everything that has to be done if and when that time comes. Again, thanks.
Sheriff, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
The question is, what kind of protective gear are the deputies and the correctional officers receiving to deal with this issue, which anybody could be transmitting?
Yeah, we've got a supply of the F95 or N95 masks, gowns, goggles, and gloves. I wouldn't say we're flush, but right now we're adequate, and we're getting a sprinkling of supplies coming in almost every other day. So right now we're in pretty good shape. The deputies are wearing their masks and gloves. Any medical call or any potential call where they're going to have to put hands on someone, the correctional officers, if they're tending to someone that's in quarantine but asymptomatic, which we're lucky right now because that's all we have. They're wearing all their protective gear when they do the 30-minute checks on them, and then of course gloves and masks when they're doing the other checks. So everybody's as protected as they can be right now under the circumstances, and I think we have what I'll term as an adequate supply for now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anybody have any other questions for the sheriff? Okay, Sheriff, thanks for the update and the continuing information that you're putting out also. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Okay, we'll move on. We've got some resolutions here. First one being, appointing the messenger as a trustee of the West Brooklyn Fire Department. And I think what we'll do is agreeable by everybody, we'll just lump them all together as far as making our decision on. The next one is a resolution for Kevin Lally, Steve Gilmore, and Ryan Bushcole to the County Emergency Telephone System Board. And I'll put the together. We have any questions on them? And if not, do you agree to go ahead and lump those together to make our decision? Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so, John, we need a motion then to move those to executive, correct?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Well, second, Art.
Is it Charlie and Tim?
You get that?
Charlie and Tim.
Charlie Thomas motion, and Tim seconded.
Okay.
And then, roll call vote.
Okay, vote by roll call.
Okay, Mike Copine,
Mike?
Yes.
Charlie Thomas,
Yeah.
Tim Dean,
Yes.
Katie White,
Yes.
Jim Wetling.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay, so carried, those will be moved on to executive committee. I have the last thing under new business is a concern and was a request as if we would consider making all county buildings a smoke-free environment under a smoke-free environment policy. What's your discussion on that?
Just bring it to me.
It's great on there. So,
How would that be in the board?
Greg, you're still on there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
There's nothing
Well, right now, as the handbook stands right now for everybody, and it's smoke free, they can still smoke on the premises within 15 feet of, they have to be at least 15 feet away from a doorway. I would like to have it changed so that no property, there's a lot of, the state is doing this now and other companies making all the properties smoke free and, making it, so they cannot smoke on county property. But I've run into some problems with employees that decided they could just take a smoke break whenever they wanted, and I have to designate, okay, this is your 15-minute break in the morning, 15-minute break in the afternoon, and noon, and lunch. And at these times, you can, right now, as long as you're 15 feet away from the doorway, but I would like to have it changed so there is no smoking at all on any of the properties.
Sounds great. Problem.
I don't have an issue with it, Greg. This is but I'm a non-smoker. I realize that there's a lot of smoke out there and there's a lot of non-smokers. I unfortunately at one point in my life was one of the non-smokers that got to pick up everybody else's cigarette butts from those who did smoke. So
You joined the Marine Corps. I think there's a state law that covers it, that's enforcement on this stuff. I think we are raising an issue that's gonna have to be addressed as, with the union membership and all the rest of that stuff. And I hate to say it, but we gotta, no, I'm just gonna say it, don't we got an issue with people taking breaks, I don't need to be taking breaks, I don't plan to be taking breaks, with the troops. It doesn't open up the other can of worms.
we're discussing that. It would be my interpretation then there are laws in place and I guess some decisions that could be made, at least on Greg's point. I can understand where he's coming from, and I do agree with him, and, a certain perspective.
Am I the sheriff? I'll be devil's advocate a little bit. I hate smoking, so, but I think what we've got to be cautious of doing is making blanket policies when it's really a supervisory issue for an employee. We need to address one or two employees. Let's address them. Let's not make it a blanket policy and go against what is already established state law. I think we should be consistent with what's out there right now. That's just my opinion.
Well, and I agree with you on that, Sheriff. That's kind of the way that's kind of the direction that I was going. As a department head, I would certainly feel that he has the authority to take action if there's action needed and take it according to what is already in place. I'm not saying to start developing more policies if you got a state policy there and other enforcement actions that can be taken. If it's discipline, it's discipline. If they don't want to listen, it's around. I'm sorry, but I agree with you on that. So I think, Greg, do you have any questions regarding our input, the sheriff's input, mine, or anybody else's there? There are some policies there. If it needs to be, if you've asked an employee on numerous occasions not to do that you can take it in a disciplinary direction.
Yeah, I totally understand. I've been diligently trying to reprimand this employee, and me and HR have been back and forth, and it's been a problem, not just only smoking, but several other things also. And my problem is I don't really have the time to babysit them all the time. And when they're out at different facilities, I'm here at the new courts building 90% of the time, and they're, at labs, and they're at the new sheriff's department and animal control. So it makes it hard for me to monitor. So, but I'm going to do the best I can to see what I can do to, control it as much as I can at this point.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I'm not going to advocate being a bird dog and follow them around at every move that they make, but if they're under observation on your part and there's violation there or there's not compliance with instructions, I'm not going to tell you to do this, but I would certainly think I would make a suggestion that, if you have to take it further as far as disciplinary action, then so be it.
Okay, yep. I was just, just trying to see if we could make it for all the properties, and I totally understand we don't want to, rewrite a whole new state law, so, I totally understand.
All right, very good. Anybody else have any discussion on it?
Hey, Greg, I'll just offer this, that, where your employees working at least half the time, if not more, there's cameras all over the place. So if you have a specific complaint or an issue that you need to follow up from a disciplinary standpoint, just get with me if you need something, as, further evidence to discuss with this employee if they're taking too many breaks. If they've got so many breaks, by union standards, whatever it might be, great. But if potentially they're taking too many, there's an option for us to capture that.
That's something to really consider. I really appreciate that. Yeah, because like I say, I don't have the time to go around and babysit everything, but it was becoming a problem. I addressed the issue, and I'm hoping that me addressing the issue and setting guidelines where we have designated times for her breaks. Maybe this will straighten out. So, but it is something to consider. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thanks, Greg. All right, Mr. Chair, we're going to go into executive session now for Charlie, but how do you want to handle the issue regarding the YouTube display of it or whatever?
Yeah. Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna have a sign that's put up. Mike McBride has a sign that puts in the executive session. We're not gonna stop the live stream. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you guys get off the line. I'm gonna call you from my phone. So if you see a 563 number, that's gonna be me patching, the 5 of you in. We're gonna go into a different room.
But we need to make a motion first, so tell me where you're going.
So we're gonna have one of you guys make a motion to go into executive session.
Now we gotta come back to the meeting, all right?
Correct. Yep.
Right. So right now, I need a motion, go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Katie,
Motion by Kate,
is there a second?
Charlie
second
said.
by Charlie Thompson.
Okay, roll call vote.
Need a roll call.
Okay, Mike Copine,
Yes.
Charlie Thomas,
Yeah.
Tim Dean,
Yeah.
Katie White,
Yes.
Jim Wetling.
Yes.
Okay, and I have to tell them what it's for too. To
All right, we're
discuss.
all supposed to hang up and Charlie's gonna call us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Hey, Mike?
Mike, hang on a minute.
Is everybody, do you want me to try muting it at least? And I just want to see if they can, if I mute it, if they could hear me.
Yeah, if you want to.
Is everybody still on?
Are you guys still on or not?
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna try to mute the YouTube feed. If he can do that, you guys don't need to get off the line.
Oh, you're,
Well, yeah, we still have to do that, because we don't know who's on.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but you still want me to mute it? If I can, no?
I don't worry about what's going there.
Oh,
All right, guys, we're gonna give you a call. It's not gonna work that way. Thanks.
Yeah, you don't know who else is on there.
So I need to stop recording.
I'm just gonna cut the, Jim, why don't you just cut the feed off?
but then
Because we have to come back
I
and
can't
close the
resume
adjourn.
it.
Then you can't get back on.
I can't resume it.
They're just gonna come back and adjourn. They can't make any decision on anything.
I don't know, but, I mean,
Right, Charlie?
Sorry?
I said he could almost cut the feed off because whenever they come back, they're just gonna adjourn. They can't make any decision on anything. They've covered everything on here.
Morning, everyone.
Well, in case they bring something up afterwards. I mean, you can still, even though we went in executive session, doesn't mean they can't jump back up to something else that we've already talked
Sure.
about.
Just live Charlie calling you too. You include Marilyn Shipper in that call?
I think I can only do it to 5.
You can only do up to 5.
Hey, I'll do the same thing for executive though too,
Okay, we'll be doing the same thing for executive.
and finance.
Shoot it out.
Well, can you use 2 phones?
I don't know how well it'll communicate over.
I can't get tape.
I don't know if she has some in her office or not.
Who?
Do you have tape in your office?
Tape.
Oh, yeah. So it's 10:10.
Hi, Marilyn. Hey, he can only get 5 on the feed. He's gonna do the same thing for executives. We'll get the same information on all that. And we will be having it in a regular, probably a regular setting situation. Phone in plus. Okay, I'll make sure you know everything that goes on. And I'm gonna call you after this meeting. We've been just trying to do these by phone today. And I'll let you know exactly what transpired. Okay, good. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.
You might. I don't know if you'll stand at the bottom of the stairs to kind of keep people from squeezing. Okay. Oh, yeah. We're back in.
So I made Michael Conway Powell's, because it was chair of public safety and chair of finance, something different than just doing. And then I did finance. Finance just wants to do differences that I'm doing salaries and stuff.
You gotta do that.
What time is it?
10:28.
Yep, we're here. Get her going, hang on.
So I need a roll call vote going back into executive session, or out of executive session. Michael Bean,
Yes.
Charlie Thomas. Charlie Thomas,
Just say
Tim
yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Katie White,
Yes.
Jim Wetling.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Ricky, I'm here, and just,
Okay, thank you. And it is 10:29.
Okay, then. Unless everybody else have any questions on it, before everybody, I'd like to thank Bob for coming in and going over the claims with the chairman, John Nicholson, Charlie, thank you for coming in, Becky, thank you for taking the minutes, and thank everybody else for participating in the call. I entertain a motion for adjournment. Make that motion.
Tim,
Tim makes motion, second. I'll second it.
Jim,
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
So moved. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Thanks for patience and all.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you guys. See you later.
Take care, Charlie.